Hi, you're welcome to Test and Tech with KTA. I'm Anita Chumesianka. You can call me Kwatma as well. That's my local name. And I'm a quality assurance engineer in Ghana. I've been working in the industry for 5 years, and I would love to share my experiences here sometimes. So if you're interested in that sort of content, especially if you're starting your career in tech, this would be your chance to subscribe to my channel because I will be sharing some tips on tech careers in general. I will be sharing especially tips on quality assurance engineering. So let's just push that aside. The first most important skill you need to master is effective communication. I know I sound like a broken record because you may have heard this over and over again, but I cannot emphasize it enough. It is important in all contexts, but it is more so if you find yourself working in an agile setting because you have no option than to collaborate closely with your team members because agile teams are usually cross functional. So you're going to have to interact a lot with people and to get yourself unblocked, to clarify topics, and to get your job done in general, you will have to communicate effectively. And I'll come to some tips on how to do that. Now, I need to draw closer to let you know that your project is not social media. So, as much as possible, use DMs sparingly. Here's what I mean. When you find yourself in a project setting, chances are that you will reach out to people to seek clarification on topics, to simply share information, or to get them to unblock your work. And when you reach out via DMs, what I have found is that sometimes whoever you think will be able to help you may not be able to help you. So the person will point you to another person. I've had cases where someone will point you to someone and the person will point you to another person, and you'll end up going in circles. But if you simply stuck to the team's dedicated channels where everybody in the project is present, if you put whatever you want to communicate or whatever clarification you're trying to seek in the chats or in a group channel, even if the person that you're tagging is unable to help, another person in the team or other people in the team can help you or can point you in the right direction. You become more efficient that way and more effective that way as a communicator than when you jump from DM to DM. Another point on communication is always share your blockers, always ensure that you communicate your things that are blocking you, issues that you find very, very promptly, especially when you feel you may have been the cause. Because you may be feeling that you may have broken something, as we usually do as quality assurance engineers, and you may be holding back because of fear and whatnot. But sometimes it may not even be whatever you may be seeing, may not even be your fault. And even if it is, so what?
Now let me share this experience regarding this, and I'm going to cut the video short. In the next one, I will share other tips on how to thrive on agile projects, but I want the videos to be short, shorter. So couple of weeks back, I had to change some configurations in Magnolia. Magnolia is a content management system. It's what's one of the projects, one of the systems that I test uses, right? So I had to change some configurations in a particular environment that was not accessible to that developer. So he gave me instructions on what to do, and I did, and I ran one script, and after I was done, I noticed that the system was down. Honestly, I freaked out. But I went back to the team. I reached out in the team's channel. I let them know that I noticed this, that it's unavailable after I did this and that. So someone should check. So the developer asked me to share some logs. I did. And after we investigated, we found out that it had nothing to do with anything I had done, right? It had nothing to do with me. And it was actually that a third party application, it's a search application, was down. So the server was down. So it affected the entire system, and the whole system had crashed. It wasn't working anymore. So this is what I mean. Eventually, we had to reach out to another company, not our team, and they fixed it. So you see, sometimes certain issues that you may find or certain challenges that you may encounter may not be issues that you have to fix. And you need to communicate these blockers so that the team will be able to judge whether this is something that is within the team's power to fix, or there's a third party involved and they have to reach out to somebody.
So communicating things like this promptly enables the team to get issues sorted out faster, because remember, when you find yourself in agile projects, it's the cycles are shorter, the delivery cycles are shorter, so we want to be able to deliver what we have promised the customer in a limited amount of time. So we don't have a lot of time, so it's very, very useful, and you can provide a lot of value when you are the type to communicate promptly. One last mini tip I would love to share regarding communication is paying attention to your written communication. And I'm talking the way you write your defect tickets, ensuring that your defect tickets have all the necessary information. There's the context of the defect, how you found it, a little background on the defect, the steps to reproduce, attaching maybe videos or screenshots, just so that whatever defect you found would be reproducible.
And aside that, most times in agile projects, in scrum projects, you may not be obligated to write test cases. Yeah, because in most of the projects that I've worked on, I do not necessarily have to write test cases, especially when I'm doing I'm testing tickets. So here's how the setting is like for me in most of my projects. I get onto the project, we use Jira, right? So the tasks or functionalities or features or modules, call them whatever you wanna, but they come as Jira tickets or Jira issues, and then they go through the entire process, and then they get to you and you test the ticket. And for the most part, there are people who do not really write any sort of or document the way that they test. I would advise that when you find yourself in a sort of setting where you don't have to write test cases, because I feel that writing test cases sort of creates visibility and it enables you to leave traces of your work. It enables people to know how you go about your testing, your process, your thought process and everything. So I advise that even if you don't have to write test cases, have a checklist of things that you want to pay attention to in the process of testing, and then ensure that it is documented in the Jira tickets, either as part of the description or in the comments, just so that people know your thought process and how you go about testing the functionalities that you test.
I hope these tips on effective communication have been useful to you. I wanted to add other tips aside effective communication, but at the same time, I want this to be more practical. I want to cite practical examples, and doing that will definitely lengthen the video, so I'm going to keep it short, and as you may have noticed, initially that wasn't the plan, so I'm going to keep this short and keep it here, and in the next video I will share another tip and some practical examples. Look forward to that. Kindly subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful wonderful time, because it may be morning somewhere and it may be afternoon somewhere else. See you in the next one. Bye.